Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for organic Bible study, fresh and delicious every single day. Come on in here to the Bible Bistro, have a seat. We are studying Psalm 22 all this week, and actually for the majority of this month, we're looking at Psalm 22, which is the psalm about the Savior's suffering, His passion, and His resurrection, because the end of this psalm, we're going to come up on the resurrection, and this psalm is forever marked as the psalm of the Savior. As Jesus hung on the cross, He spoke the first line of this psalm, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And now we continue in verses 5 and 6 today. Now, I said we were going to go back to verse 4, and I want to do that because this is part of the argument I think that the Savior is making on the cross while He's suffering. God has separated Himself from Messiah, Jesus Christ, as He's on the cross. He says, "But you are holy, you who dwell amongst the praises of Israel." And then, thinking about those praises of Israel, He says, "In you our fathers trusted. They trusted and you delivered them." Verse 5, "To you they called out and you delivered them. In you they trusted and were not ashamed. But I am a worm and not a man, a reproach of a man and despised of the people." Now you notice He says there, they called out, you delivered them, they trusted, were not ashamed. This all runs together. 4 and 5 run together because this is part of His argument while He's on the cross. No doubt the Savior prayed this. We don't have a record of it in the New Testament, but in His heart, maybe He's repeating this psalm to Himself. There is one tradition that says that He began praying on the cross with Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, and He continued all the way through 22, all the way to Psalm 31. Maybe He's praying this prayer and He's saying, you're holy, but remember now, our fathers, they've trusted in you. They're the ones that trusted. Now, He's not talking about every father, is He? But He's talking about the fathers of faith. He's talking about those men and women who are recorded for us in Hebrews chapter 11. And there are so many more than just what's recorded for us in Hebrews 11, because even in Hebrews chapter 11, the Hebrew evangelist says, time would fail me to speak of, and then he makes a list and then mentions even others that he doesn't mention by name, who are great men and women of faith. To you they called out, you delivered them. In you they trusted, they were not ashamed. But then notice verse 6, we take a turn. I am a worm and not a man. You remember, Jesus came as a man. He condescended. He came down. He set aside the glory of heaven, was made in the likeness of human flesh, became a man, was born a child. And even though He was God, yet He became man. Now He says of Himself, I'm not even really a man. I'm a worm. I'm the lowest form of life on this planet. People step on a worm and don't even know it. They don't recognize it. And the worm is nothing but flesh. And it can do only one thing when it's stepped on, and that's suffer. And that's exactly what He's doing right now. He's suffering on the cross. And He says of Himself, I'm just being crushed like a worm. I'm not a man. And not only am I not a man, but men despise me. I'm a reproach of a man, despised of the people. They don't even see me as human. And of course, that takes us right back to Isaiah chapter 53, doesn't it? There in Isaiah chapter 53, it says that He was despised and rejected of men. And that's the Savior. That's the suffering servant. So Psalm 22:6, Isaiah 53:3, and then next time we're going to see this despising of the people play out in their own words in Matthew chapter 27. So I hope you'll join me tomorrow. We'll be reading verses 7 and 8, and we'll go back to the gospel record and actually hear the account of what the people said about Jesus as He's on the cross. Join me then on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.